Good evening, welcome back to my channel. So I've come down to Southsea Castle this evening, a lovely evening. I'm going to try and do a time-lapse, sunset time-lapse overlooking Southsea Castle into the sun. There's a little bit of wispy cloud, so hopefully we'll get some motion in the sky. Should be a really good evening. Got a fair going on next to us. I don't know whether you can see there. So it's going to be a little bit more action down there than I was hoping for this evening. But hopefully it shouldn't get in my way too much and I shouldn't get in their way. I've come down to the back of Southsea Castle, down by the seafront. It's a little bit quieter down here. It keeps me out of the way of the fair. There's quite a lot of people up there and it's going to be quite noisy, so it's going to be difficult. People probably are going to be getting in my way. So I've got my camera set up on the tripod here. I'll just show you. I'm in interval timer mode. Let's just brighten that up a little bit so you can see. Interval timer mode. I'm going to be shooting 1,000 images at a 15-second interval, which should take me up until just gone 10 o'clock. So I'm going to be taking about an hour and a half before sunrise, before sunset, and an hour and a half after sunset. Sunset's about 8:30. So what I'm going to do is to make sure my camera is focused, and I'm going to get this show on the road. Just make sure we're nicely focused, and then we're going to set off. And this is going to be what's known as a Holy Grail time lapse. Basically means where it's going from night into day or day into night. Obviously not day into night in this instance. That can pose challenges because the light's constantly changing. What a lot of photographers do is they'll manually adjust their camera, manually adjust their exposure during the time lapse to make sure they keep a proper exposure. What I tend to do, and I found this a lot easier, is to put the camera into program mode. Lets the camera do all the work. It will automatically adjust my aperture, my shutter speed, and I've got it in auto ISO. I've set a maximum ISO of 3200 ISO, so it's not going too high. I shouldn't get too much noise in the image. So the camera will take care of the changing light conditions throughout the 3 hour or so exposure. Now that my camera was set up, all that was left to do was wait. Time-lapse photography is all about patience. It takes a long time to capture a time-lapse. It's all about condensing 3 or 4 hours into a short 15-second clip. And all there is to do is to check your exposure, chat to passers-by, and maybe send up the drone. Southsea Castle and the bandstand look stunning from up high. You really get a sense of the scale and majesty of the castle and its environment. Time-lapse is a great style of photography for showing motion. Ideal conditions, you really want, when you're doing a sort of a time-lapse like this, you really want some sort of clouds in the sky so you see the motion of the clouds. You're going to see the sun come down. It's not the best evening. It's a little bit of a blue sky evening tonight. It looked like it was going to be a little bit more cloudy than it was earlier. The cloud seems to have cleared now. Looks like there is a little bit on the horizon, so we might get a bit of a sunset. But it's really good for showing motion, not just in clouds but in people. You can set up a time lapse up in a crowded place and watch people go past. One of the classic places for doing this, you may have seen, is Canary Wharf with the clocks. You see the motion of the clocks, the time going past, and the people rushing down through Canada Square. Looks really effective, but you could do that in other places as well, shopping centres. I could take you down to Old Portsmouth and have a time lapse of people walking down Broad Street. That might look quite effective, and I've thought about doing that. Then there's also extreme time lapses where you have the time lapse running over many hours, days, or sometimes even years, and that's been done with construction to watch how buildings go up, where a camera's been left set up for many months, sometimes years. You've seen skyscrapers come up from the ground up, and it can look really effective. Sort of equipment you need for doing a time lapse: obviously you need a good tripod, and I've got my Manfrotto here and my camera set up. Any camera will do as long as you've got either interval shooting, or if you don't have interval shooting built into the camera, which fortunately mine does, you can buy an intervalometer which you can plug into the camera, and that will fire off the images at regular intervals. Modern cameras, you don't really need these. Most cameras have an intervalometer built in, or time-lapse feature built in. This camera, which is my Nikon Z6 II, can also shoot time-lapse movies, so I don't even have to take the individual still images and put them together in software afterwards to create the final movie. It will output a 4K movie straight out of camera. I'm not doing that tonight. I'm just going to take the images back with me and I'll process them through LR Timelapse, Lightroom, and then probably put them into DaVinci Resolve to create the final movie, and I'll show you that hopefully at the end of this video. Sun's starting to set behind the castle now, starting to get some wonderful sun stars just as it dips below the castle. You can see on my phone there, you can see the sun stars, and if I have a look on the back of the camera, I can get my hands out of the way, stop the reflection. I'll wait for it to take another one. You can just see a little bit of a sun star there. Settings on the camera, so it's at f5 at the moment, 100th of a second, still on auto ISO. What will happen is as the light dips, my aperture will drop to its lowest aperture, which is f4 on this camera, and then the camera will start lowering, or slowing down the shutter to its minimum shutter speed that I've set in the menu. So I can't remember what I've set it as, but I put a note on screen. Then once it reaches that, it will start raising the ISO up automatically just to maintain exposure, just to keep a perfectly balanced exposure. I've got the camera set to one stop overexposed, just because the side of the castle was very dark against a very bright sky. Not too worried about the sky blowing out because you are looking directly into the sun. Obviously it is a sunset, but I wanted to see a little bit of detail in the side of the castle. Obviously as it gets darker, the light's going to be a little bit more balanced and it won't be so much of an issue. Oh, it's all starting to kick off now. You have a look here. The sun's just dropped behind the castle, and you can see you've got some clouds coming over, so we might actually get a sunset tonight. That's looking really promising. There's a low bank of cloud just on the horizon. I don't know whether you can see it there. A little low bank of cloud just on the horizon. Hopefully that should light up as the sun dips down, but it's looking really, really promising. This is going to be a good time lapse, I hope. Really looking forward to this one. So this is going really, really well, but there is one slight miscalculation as I decided to set my camera up with the path just in front of me. So it means that every time someone walks down from the top of the castle, they walk right in front of the camera, and quite often they decide to stop right in front of the camera. Oh, it's going to make some interest in the final video, I expect. Is these things, I suppose I could have set up just the other side, but then I'd be a little bit too low and you wouldn't really be able to get the castle. I'm a little bit low anyway. I'm kind of looking up at the castle, which is not ideal. Would have preferred to be up on the bank, but because of the fair and all the people up there, it wasn't really a good place to set up. Down here is also a lot less windy, so yeah, it is what it is. I don't know whether you can see behind me, starting to get some wonderful colours in the sky, lots of magentas and purples and oranges. Let me just darken this down a little bit just so I can show you what we're seeing here. You see you get some wonderful magentas, oranges. It's looking really good. It's lighting you back up again. Really hoping that this is going to come out in the final time lapse. There's clouds moving through. There's quite a lot of wind tonight, so if there is any cloud, it's going to be moving quite quickly, which is really good. That's really what we want with a time lapse. Need motion, whether it be clouds, whether it be traffic, whether it be people moving through a space, all look really, really good. Really brings out the emotion. It's the sort of thing that you don't see day to day. We see things in the time that we see things in, and when you see a time lapse, it's a little bit unnatural. It's not how we normally view the world, and it's a really good insight into bringing out, it's a really good way of bringing out different emotions of a scene. So here, it's an old castle, there's a lot of history. It goes back to Henry VIII, that's what, 400 or 500 years. And having a time lapse showing the passage of time really fits well with a historic subject like this. Sun's gone down about now. I'm using the PhotoPills app to look at where the sun is, where the moon is, and what time sunset is. You can see that sunset here is round about 20 past 8, half 8, something like that. It's about 20 past 8 now, so the sun's probably gone down, and you can probably see on the camera it's getting quite dark now. If I just show you on this camera, you can see the sunset right behind the castle now, and get some lovely colours in the sky. There's a little bit of cloud there. It's not quite as much as I'd like. It's normally really good if you've got sort of high cloud whooshing past, kind of parallel to the way the camera's pointing. That always looks really good because you get those automatic leading lines, which looks really, really good. Hopefully this is going to look all right. You never know what the cloud's going to look like until you get back and look at the time lapse, because you don't really notice the clouds moving unless they're moving really, really fast, which they're not tonight. There's bound to be some movement in the clouds, but I'm not going to really be able to see that until I look at the time-lapse movie later on. As the light continues to dip, we need to continually make sure we're monitoring our exposure. As I said earlier, I've got my camera in program mode, so if we have a look on the back of the camera at what the settings are doing, the camera is now at f4, which is its lowest aperture, 40th of a second. Hasn't started bumping up the ISO yet. It will start bumping up the ISO as soon as that shutter speed reaches the minimum value. I've just got a little bag blown past. Oh, that's rather interesting. Thought that was a pigeon for a minute. It's getting really dark down here now. Hope you can see me. I'm going to try and show you the back of the camera, show you what the camera settings are doing. So hopefully you can see on the back of the camera there that I'm now dropped down to f4, 1 second exposure, and I'm at ISO 280. So you can see the program mode is working. It's increasing both the ISO and dropping the shutter speed to get a good exposure. You can see how dark it is now. I matched up with a guy who was telling me that he'd taken some photos from top of the hill where I was hoping to be shooting this from. He managed to get a really good sunset. The sun was actually massive and was really, really good. Hey, you win some, you lose some. This isn't the best position I could have been in, but it's a position I chose. This is a position I've got to live with. There's some really nice clouds coming out now. If I turn around, you may just be able to see them. So it's a wonderful bank of clouds there. I'm using a little handheld light just to light myself up. It's getting a bit dark for this camera. You can see it's a wonderful bank of clouds. That's going to look really good in the time lapse. Finally get some motion, finally get some interest in the sky. Colour's just about fading now, but we might get some stars out. It's a new moon tonight. I don't know whether I can point you up. You can see the moon. Yeah, there you go. You can just about see the moon. It's a new moon, so that's not going to be washing out any of the stars, which is the thing you really don't want when you're doing astrophotography. I'm not really just here for astrophotography. I haven't got the kit for it. I'm not going to be here that long, but if I get some stars come out, I'm going to be here till probably about 10 o'clock. If I get some stars come out, that's going to look really nice. Well, I've decided to call it a night tonight. I didn't really pick the best spot for it. It's too light on this side here where the lights have come on the path. I'm not really getting the lights on the castle itself because they're all around the other side. I really did need to be up the top. I think what I'll do is I'll come back down here again at some point and set up in my preferred position when there isn't a fair going on. I did manage to get the drone up, so I've got a few nice shots. I've got some nice shots of the fair and of the castle, and I'll pop those in as well. I'm making my way back to the car now, a little dejected. Wasn't quite the evening I had in mind. Met some good people though, had some good chats with people and got a new Facebook follower, which is good. I'm going to be back down here again to do the time lapse from where I wanted it, which is up on the bank overlooking this side of the castle. You can see this side here, we've got the lights. You've got the water fountain, which is really nice. I really couldn't go where I wanted tonight because of this fair. You can see the fair behind me. It's far too much noise, far too many people up there. Really wasn't going to work for me. You win some, you lose some, but That's photography, you don't always get what you want. Well, if you'd like this video, please give it a like and share. And please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you a penny, but it really helps the channel, helps me get out and make more videos. This is all about pushing my boundaries and sharing those reviews. So until the next one, laters. I really wasn't happy with the first time lapse, so I went back down to Southsea, set up on the bank looking down towards the castle and tried again. I think you'll agree, location and framing is everything. From this angle we see more of the castle and the change of light. We can also see behind the building towards the horizon and the setting sun.